Andrew Sullivan writes about this White House mole in New York Magazine. I feel like I know Stephen Miller. I feel like I know him because I used to be a little like him. He is a classic type, a rather dour right-of-center kid whose conservatism was radicalized by lefties in the educational system. No, I'm not blaming liberals for Miller's grim fanaticism. I'm noting merely that right-of-center students are often mocked, isolated, and, help me out here, anathematized on campus. And their response is often, sadly, a doubling down on whatever it is that progressives hate. Before too long, they start adopting bratish and obnoxious positions just to tick off their SJW peers and teachers. After a while, you're not so much arguing for conservatism as against leftism, and eventually the issues fade and only the hate remains.
So this is just a brilliant point.
Yep.
And I haven't said anything Andrew Sullivan's written in years, since he fell deeply in love with Barack Obama and was fawning over Obama for 8 years. I haven't said this about Andrew Sullivan. He so completely nails this. And I know this. Look at me. I went to 2 Southern state schools.
Yep.
I can't name a single center or right-of-center professor I had in history, political science, English, you name it. They were all Democrats. They all loathed Reagan. I went off to law school. I said the most basic things at University of Florida School of Law, right? Very conservative area.
Right.
And if you even dared to go a little right of center, a lot of times you get booed in class. And so Mika knew people that were ultimately in Dartmouth Review and made a lot of waves. I can tell you, though, it gets to a point where whatever you say in class, if you're not left of center and playing to the, you get booed a lot of times, or you get sneered at, and so pretty soon you just go quiet and let them run roughshod. And people who aren't conservative will never understand this in a million years. So if you're Ann Coulter, if you're Stephen Miller, if you're young, and I'm like Andrew Sullivan, I'm making no excuses for any of these people, but you get the, you know what, kicked out of you every single day. You try to express your opinions in an environment that's supposed to be liberal and open-minded. Pretty soon you say, well, listen, if I'm going to Dartmouth and I can't express what 53% of Americans believe in whatever years those were, the late 80s when the Dartmouth Reviews.
It wasn't a pretty time.
So if I can't even say mainstream conservative thought in my class, I might as well go out on the quad and have an affirmative action bake sale.
Right.
The hell with them. Okay, because you know what? This is what I found. The reaction's the same.
Right.
Whether you have a mainstream thought in class that gets killed, or whether you go out and have an affirmative action bake sale, you're going to get killed either way. So put it in their face. Yep. And again, I went to 2 Southern state schools. And by the way, anybody that claims I don't know it, go to hell. You don't know what you're talking about. You live with it every second, Joe, as a conservative. Every second as a conservative.
Joe,
I'm talking to him.
Okay, I know.
It's one of the great failings, and I know you'll agree with me. It's one, and I'm passionate about this for a reason. It is one of the great failings of this country. It's one of the great failings of our academic system that it is so illiberal. That unless you don't march in lockstep in the best college campuses in this country, you are shunned. So what do you end up doing? You get shoved to extreme positions just to push back at the extreme hatred that you face from the second you walk into an elite institution. And I'll be quiet now. But nothing makes me angrier as far as liberal hypocrisy than in this area alone. And Andrew Sullivan nailed it.
Yep.